Hello! How is everyone? Well, for the VOD, since I don't think anyone's here at the moment, I shall mention that I have played the original Kathy Rain before, but I'm really interested to discover the director's cut with all of you. And I guess we should just get right to it then. Let me just poke. Okay. Looks like you are that. Let me check the stream real quick to ensure that I pull this up because I can't do myself. Hello? I'm so sorry if you can hear yourself. Oh no, that's different. Let's try there. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's better. I am sorry for that janky setup process. Now, we can continue. Begin. I was about to say continue.
Hey, you.
Hey.
I've got your voice acting.
Oh, man.
Oh?
Oh, God, this is so comfy. I'm just gonna lie here and suffocate on my own vomit now.
Oh, okay.
I had a thing I wanted to tell you.
Uh-huh.
Oh?
This room sure looks different when it's spinning.
I'd imagine.
So I was browsing through the used book ads in the paper when
Listen, Eileen, I'm totally excited about books right now, but...
Wait, hear me out. So I noticed this article about a war veteran from Conwell Springs who just died. I remembered
Oh?
that you used to live there and everything, and
Oh, how I
I
wish
hope
for
you did not hear
joyful,
that.
blissful sleep.
and
Huh.
get this. His name was Joseph. Joseph Rain.
What did you just say?
Oh?
You knew him, right? I knew it. I knew you'd know him.
Let's see. I guess we
I
can
haven't
say
seen
that.
him since I was a kid. A lifetime ago. Hey, wait a minute. I never told you where I grew up.
Oh, well, I might
Well-
have sort of looked you up.
That is not cool, Eileen. Seriously.
I just couldn't help myself.
Well, one of these days you're gonna help yourself to a restraining order. I'm just telling you this as a friend.
I know. Well, anyway, you should know that the funeral is tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you gonna go?
I don't know. Good night, Eileen.
Alas.
Good night, Kathy.
Well, nice to see the pixel art is as great as ever. September 25th, 1995.
Oh, God, make it stop.
Use the left mouse button to walk and interact with objects. Well, let's shut this up. I'm not fond of alarms.
Looks like Eileen left a note for me here. Hi, Kat. Since it's such a long drive, I set the alarm so you won't miss the funeral. Thank me later. E.
Ah,
I'm so getting a new roommate.
you sure about that?
Well, I guess I should get going. I'm late enough as it is.
Well, first, display tractable objects. Oh god, there's like 300 things. We'll select the alarm clock.
Eileen's obnoxious alarm clock. The noise makes me want to stab myself with something dull.
That's just me with alarms in general.
Eileen's schedule. There's a note for today. Set alarm clock for Kathy. Can't have her miss the funeral. Honestly, she can believe in what she wants as long as she doesn't try to shove
Hi.
it down my throat.
Welcome, Ralphie. We are playing Kathy Rain Director's Cut Edition. I have played before, but I heard they added some new content, and I'm excited to see it.
That movie's not out yet. It's a promo poster Eileen got for being an extra. She tells everyone who walks in here the same joke. Spoiler alert, the boat sinks.
Oh gosh, there's so much to look at
Eileen
in
makes
such
her
little
bed with
space.
surgical precision.
Seems like a very tidy person. Very different than Kathy. It is. Although I don't know if it stays cute. We'll see. You'll see. You'll see what happens.
Eileen's girly suitcase. There's a sticker on it with her full name, Eileen Mildred Summers. Mildred. Oh my god, I'm gonna get her for that. I wish I could wrap up that fact and save it for Christmas.
Such a nice roommate you are.
Makeup check, hair check, horrible mood, and contempt for humanity check.
Oh, awesome. Let's see.
I'm fairly sure it's about some guy who falls in love with his golden retriever. I think that movie is about a girl and a boy who hate each other at first and then they fall in love for no reason at all.
Ah.
Oh, wait. That's every romantic comedy ever.
I was about to say that. I don't know if I remembered that or if I was just thinking the same thing.
We meet again, Mr. Bear. Don't give me that look. It's not my fault you ended up so close to my lighter.
Sure, Kathy. Sure.
Eileen's closet, filled to the brink with inherited clothes and Christian joy.
Oh, got the procrastinator achievement. I think I got this the first time around. Gotta look at everything. It's a point-and-click adventure
Color
game
printer.
after all.
Super fancy, apparently. A fact which Eileen loves to remind me of.
Well, Eileen does her best. Let's see. Oh, you missed the timestamp, but I think this takes place in 1995, so computer's new.
Eileen borrowed
sort
it
of.
from school. She takes a bunch of computer classes. I'm no geek, but I know how to use one. A computer, that is, not a geek.
Ah,
It's some advanced scanner thingy. Our room phone. It's got an external line.
oh, how fancy.
I don't need to make any calls right now. The Thing. One of my favorite horror movies. My electric guitar. Got it cheap from a lesbian I met at a concert. Helped me get rid of my last two roommates. Pulp Fiction. Love that flick.
I've
Just some
watched,
random
like,
band poster.
none of these movies they're referencing. Let's see. I guess it's just
Messy.
Kathy's bedroom.
Just the way I like it.
Hey, welcome, welcome. I really need a better spot to see chat. I need a phone stand, is what I need. Cause, chat's all the way to the left. Ooh, I heard there's like some fancy stuff you can do with like the bike, maybe? Cosmetics? Don't remember how that went. But let's go to the cemetery. Excuse me?
Ugh, just my luck.
Do you know why I pulled you over, ma'am?
Sure.
That ticket quota of yours wasn't gonna fill itself?
Trying to be a smartass, ma'am? Nobody likes a smartass.
This
Do
is
you know
new.
how fast you were going?
Yes.
And?
Yes, sir?
A smartass playing dumb. Aren't you just the perfect blend of obnoxious?
I guess so. Look, I'm really sorry, officer. I'm in a huge hurry to this thing, and the road has been empty for miles. You know how it is.
Well, what I do know is that the speed limit here is 65. I clocked you at 77. You're getting a ticket.
Oh, to the movies? I prefer horror flicks.
Regular comedian, huh? Don't quit your day job.
Well, that was new. I wonder if that has any significance whatsoever. Hold on, we have an inventory. Look at pixelated Kathy. I mean, even more pixelated Kathy. That was hilarious.
Well, here we are after a 40-minute drive and a harebrained speeding ticket.
Joy. Let's see.
God, I really need a smoke. Does anyone object? Guess not. Dead people rule.
Oh, here's the inventory button. Do we actually get a ticket? Notebook, stun gun, pack of cigarettes, zipper lighter. Nope.
We are gathered here today to honor a person of great integrity, a pillar of the community, and a decorated war hero. His name was Joseph Irving Rain. We all remember his warm heart, his compassion, and his eagerness to help others. His passing, while our loss, is surely heaven's gain. Now we entrust our brother Joseph to God's mercy. We commit his body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In sure and certain hope of the resurrection to eternal life through our Lord Jesus Christ, who will transform our frail bodies so that they may be conformed to his glorious body, who died, was buried, and rose again for us. To him be glory forever. Amen.
I will never understand. You?
Oh, Kathy, you big baby, just talk to her.
You've got this, Kathy. Mrs. Rain.
Excuse me? Mrs. Rain?
Have we met, Anna? You look strangely familiar.
It's me. It's Catherine.
Catherine who?
You don't recognize me? I guess it's been a while. I might be a bit taller than you remember me.
Kathy? Bless my soul. Look at you, all grown up. Oh, how I wish Joseph could see you now, finally coming home.
Let's hope he can. Wherever he is.
A comforting thought, dear. Lord, how long has it been? 10 years? 15?
15 sounds about right. I was 6 when Mom took me away.
Goodness, we have some catching up to do then. I want to know everything. Listen, I'm not quite ready to leave yet, but why don't you join me at the house in half an hour?
Sure, I'd love to. I passed it on my way here. It shouldn't be too hard to find.
I'll see you soon then. I'm so glad you found your way back home. I can't wait for us to have a chance to talk.
Same here. See you in a bit.
Let's see. You can look at every single tombstone.
Rest in peace, Grandpa. I wish things could have been different.
Oh.
Conwell Springs. I never thought I'd return to this place. A family mausoleum. It says price. The family must have been fairly rich. Those things don't come cheap.
We'll ignore the 3 billion tombstones. That'll take forever to investigate.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thanks.
If you wish to find God, the Church of the Holy Trinity is always open to you.
Is that so?
Here, have a brochure. It's never too late to turn away from a path of sin.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you want to hear as soon as a loved one dies. I like
No
this
sin.
response.
But what am I supposed to do for fun?
Behind those words is a deep wound, a desire to belong. If you let him, Christ can fill that void.
Ugh, please don't make Christ fill my void. I'm totally not up for that.
With the crude facade of a lost soul, I'll pray for you. I wish you comfort in this time of grief.
Yeah, there are boundaries, my good sir. Ooh. Let's click this. You have to unlock them. I wonder what the unlocking requirements are. Oh well. Off to the Rain residence.
Grandma, anybody home?
What you be? Let us now investigate everything.
Nice black leather coat. Right up my alley. A mere single pair of boots on display. Boy, do we live in different worlds. There's nothing quite like the soothing sound of rain falling on a window.
I must agree.
Cute red horse. It's some old Swedish thing, I think. This paint looks fresh. Grandma must have had this restored recently. An old wheelchair. Not too dusty. Grandpa must have used it towards the end.
Alas. Kathy? Oh.
I don't have anything to search for yet.
What if I, Oh, do I actually need the number?
I don't have anything to talk about with E right now.
Aw. You know what I want to do. No fun. The point-and-click
A small
adventure
table
game
lamp.
gives you a phone. It's obligatory to do this.
It's a photo of this very farm from way back. It says June 12, 1910 in the corner.
Yake.
A wedding photo from when my grandparents married.
Aw.
They look younger than I am now. Things have sure changed. Some kind of winter forest scene. I've always wondered if it's supposed to be Conwell Woods or not. Dog fighting. Grandpa used to love that stuff.
Now that I think about it, I think those are supposed to be warplanes, not dogs. I guess that's what they call warplane
I shouldn't
types.
overstay my welcome.
Oh, true, Alan.
Oh, hello, dear. I was just wondering what took you so long.
I'm sorry, I had to
Sorry, I
investigate
couldn't resist
everything.
taking that old wheelchair for a spin. Oh, don't give me that look. I put it back.
You haven't changed one bit. Always kidding around, just like when you were little. Come, have a seat. We have so much to talk about. So, now, tell me about your life in the city.
Oh, there's not much to tell. I'm going to school for journalism. It's my second year. I ride a motorcycle in case you missed it there out front.
Ah, that's right. Just like your father.
Yeah, I suppose.
I must ask, have you heard anything from your father? Anything at all?
No, nothing since he bailed way back then.
I expected as much. He disappeared without a trace. No matter, that's ancient history. How's Sharon then?
Well, she is our sweet
Mom
grandma.
is... I had her committed to a place where she could get some real help. I just couldn't take it anymore.
I'm sorry to hear that. In spite of everything that happened when she took you away.
Yeah, about that. I'm sorry I didn't visit sooner, Grandma. Mom, she told me all these horrible lies about you and Grandpa. When I was old enough to understand what she was doing, I felt like it was much too late.
It wasn't your fault, dear. You were a child. I'm just happy that you're here now.
Oh.
Me too. So, what about you? How have you been doing all these years?
I've been lonely ever since the accident. There's no denying that.
What accident?
Goodness gracious. Of course you don't know. She took you away before it all happened.
Don't know what.
I will never forget that dreadful day. August 16th, 1981. It was the middle of the night when Sheriff Truman knocked on our door. He had Joseph with him. I couldn't even recognize Joseph at first. All dirty and wet with an awful blank stare on his face, like his soul had been ripped from his body. Since that day, he never spoke a word. Forever confined to that blasted wheelchair.
Really? For all this time? I had no idea.
It came as a shock to all of us.
That's horrible, Grandma. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, dear.
Yes. Let us do the... one of the main mechanics of this game. Got a notebook? Use it.
Why do you think Grandpa suddenly left that night in 81?
I haven't the faintest idea. He acted very peculiar not long before it happened, disappearing for hours at a time. At first, I even suspected he was having an affair.
Oh.
When I asked him about it, he just said he was chasing old demons. Must have had something to do with the war.
What did the doctors have to say about Grandpa's condition?
Persistent vegetative state. That's what they call it.
Oh.
I've heard it all by now. One doctor said it was a stroke. Another claimed it was a seizure. The third hack tried to sell it off as a severe infection. It's all a load of tripe. I had an MRI performed on Joseph. It's one of those state-of-the-art head scans.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yes, well, according to the scan, his brain was completely intact. They thought it was a technical problem at the time, some kind of glitch, but the result was the same after 3 different scans on 3 different machines. Eventually, they had to confess that they simply had no credible explanation for the state he was in.
And this injury just happened to occur on the very same night he mysteriously disappears?
Indeed. I refuse to believe it was a coincidence.
Maybe it was post-traumatic stress disorder? Grandpa always had a hard time showing weakness.
I don't know, dear. I'm just speculating. I didn't think too much of it at the time. Joseph was a man of few words. I'm sure he just didn't wish to burden me with it, whatever it was.
What did Sheriff Truman have to say about the matter?
Not much. He said they simply found Joseph in that condition on the outskirts of town. The sheriff was convinced there was some kind of foul play involved, but the investigation turned up nothing. He later said that he was sorry, but that he was forced to close the case.
You know, I could try to find out more about this.
You're welcome to try, dear. Some kind of closure would mean the world to me.
Okay, I think I'll head over to the sheriff's station for a little chat then. Would be nice to witness police doing some actual police service for once.
Sure, you go ahead. Let me know if I can be of any more help.
See you later, Grams.
Take care, dear.
Let us see what we can find. But first, let's look at everything inside here.
That's where the nice china is kept, only for special occasions. I have yet to see it outside the cabinet. Grandma always had a penchant for little angel figurines like these. I bet E would love them.
I don't think this was here before.
A painting of a blue sky with clouds. Probably supposed to be a backdrop for those angels. An intricate toy airplane with moving parts. I remember playing with that. Grandpa had a whole collection of them.
Neat. Why are you walking
A
into the
decent-sized book collection. Most of them science or history related from the looks of it.
Yeah. Mysteries are great. And we get a chance to look into the past.
There's nothing quite like the soothing sound of rain falling on a window.
Let's see. I think if we go here, we actually sit down. Oh, I didn't actually want to
There
sit
are
on
a
the
few things
couch.
I...
Very well.
No, I actually have nothing to speak to you with.
Well, gotta go, Graham.
Bye, Kath.
I love point and click adventures. We're just like, hi, bye.
Grandma has prepared some tea for us.
But it's a coffee table.
Nice leather chair. Freckles, the old farm cat, used to love that thing.
Aw. Kitty.
I used to love digging through those drawers when I was a kid, looking for coins, buttons, and trinkets. Expensive looking scotch. That thing has been standing there forever.
Let's see. More photos. All the photos.
Some woman dressed fancy. I'm not sure how I'm related to her, but she has my hair. That's my great-grandfather, Eric Wren. I never met him. They changed the spelling to Rain after he died, I think. Planes, planes, and more planes. Grandpa in his Air Force uniform. Looks to be in his early 20s.
Now, let's see. Is that it? I guess so. Out the door we go. Even if I have played this before, it's likely I'll get stuck on a puzzle or something. Especially since they did change some stuff. And also we started this game by getting a ticket. Sheriff's station. Well,
Hi.
Hello.
Do I have to commit a crime to get your attention? Because I seriously will.
huh.
Ma'am, I'm really quite busy at the moment. Hey, wait. I know you.
I'm
You
pretty
do?
sure you don't.
Yes, I do. You're Kathy. Kathy Rain.
My reputation precedes me, in a kind of but not totally creepy way.
Aw, come on. It's me, Lenny. Lenny Marks.
I think, I did this time the first time I played. What happens if I do
Oh,
this?
right. Lenny. Long time no see, buddy.
Ain't that the truth? I suppose you came to town for the funeral?
Yep, that's right.
Sorry for your loss. Joseph was a great guy before, well, you know.
Yeah, he really was.
So, anyway, what?
Whoops. I did not mean to skip that last bit, but oh well.
I wanted to ask if you know anything about my grandfather's accident.
I really don't know much beyond the rumors. The sheriff may have more information, but even he probably doesn't know anything that isn't in the report. It happened before either of us worked here.
Okay, I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff then.
Sure thing. His office is to your right.
Awesome, awesome. Can I shove this in your face?
What's your opinion on this church?
I think it's a nice enough church. Why?
I don't know. The priest seemed odd. Kinda pushy.
Yeah, I get your point. But I know the guy. He's harmless.
If you say so. Well, gotta go.
Good luck. Oh, and have a complimentary cup of joe if you want.
Ah, maybe later. Thanks.
Sure thing.
Wait,
See ya.
can I actually get coffee? Hold on. This is important. This is new.
Just your standard coffee maker.
On the plant. Can I use it on the plant?
I guess I could mess around with this, but only as a last resort. I should make sure that the cops aren't going to help me willingly first.
Can I?
Nah, I'm good. Had a cup this morning.
Hey, Sheriff, what's the deal with that bum?
What bum?
The one in the cell.
Oh, I thought it was with you.
Well, shit.
Oh,
A medieval fortress near an ocean, probably supposed to be somewhere in Europe. A medieval fortress near an ocean.
oh, I guess these two are the same. That is totally not a medieval fortress. This is a town.
A bunch of cops lining up for a photo.
This is new. He never did that before. To be fair, there was never a coffee machine there before.
Land of the free. Various notices and a wanted poster. Fax machines,
How's the
the
paperwork
pinnacle of
coming along,
modern
Lenny?
technology.
Okay, I guess. Maybe halfway through.
That's no good. We're gonna have to cancel lunch today.
Again? Oh, man.
Your motivation shouldn't be limited by your growling stomach, Lenny.
I just like him.
If you say so, boss.
Food important.
I guess somebody's a winner. Tons of miscellaneous files. I don't see anything labeled as police reports, so those must be elsewhere.
I see.
A photo of the sheriff shaking hands with some bald guy in a suit. Probably the mayor.
Interesting.
It's always the mayor.
Okay. What other pictures are there?
A gold medal of some kind.
Of some kind.
Just some photo. Nothing special about it. Oh crap, it's you again.
The smartass returns. You have some more crimes to confess?
Oh, you know, maybe a felony or two.
Wouldn't be surprised. Look, I'm busy here. What do you want?
I just have a few questions, that's all.
Yeah.
Fine. Go ahead.
Well, a question.
Do you
but
know what happened to Joseph Rain in 81?
He had a stroke in the woods. That's what happened.
If that's all there is, why would Sheriff Truman open an investigation?
It was just standard procedure. A general occurrence report always has to be filed.
I see. Did you know him at all?
No, I haven't been in town for long. Man sure has one hell of a reputation, though. It's been over a decade since he was put in that wheelchair, and people still talk about the man he used to be. It's like he was a cult leader or something.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory to me.
Could be, but you know what they say. Things too good to be true usually are.
Could I have
Oh.
a look at that report?
Absolutely not. They're official police documents.
Why not? I thought filed police reports are public record.
Not in this state, they ain't.
Oh.
But I'm family. Doesn't that count for something?
You consider yourself family? I've never even seen you before in this town.
It's complicated.
Guess what's complicated? Not to mention illegal. Handing out evidence to anyone who asks for it.
Aw, come on, Sheriff. What's the big deal? It was a long time ago. It would make this girl very, very happy.
Are you trying to use flirtation on an officer of the law? Well, that shit may work on numbnuts like Lenny, but I got work to
No.
do.
Lenny, a little help here? Don't you agree that he's taking by the book too far?
Well, boss, she is his granddaughter, really. I don't think it's any...
Don't you think I know that? There are rules. Am I the only one in here who cares about the law?
Too much
It's
coffee?
like a
Try not to
small
pop a vein.
Do you want to see the inside of a cell?
Oh, cuff me, officer. Spare me the torment of your rhetorical questions and veiled threats.
Just follow the rules like everyone else. I've had enough of this nonsense.
Fine.
Weird state not having police records be public records. Hey, buddy, old
Hey,
pal that I
Hello,
totally
Kathy.
remember.
What's up?
Hey, I need to see the police.
We only keep reports filed after 1990 in here, so I'd have to go check the archives in the other room. If it was up to me, I'd be happy to go take a look, but you heard the sheriff before. I'm sorry, but I can't help you unless he approves it.
Fine. Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Looks like talking isn't gonna help me get that report. I'll have to take matters into my own hands. Lenny mentioned that the older police reports are kept in the room behind those doors.
I heard this puzzle changed. I have a suspicion I know what it is.
All right, let's see how this plays out.
That poor plant. I
Lenny,
love the fact
quit
that she
loitering and
might
make
have
some
just been
goddamn
sitting
coffee.
there the whole entire time.
10-4, coming right up.
Oh, it better be.
Drinking that much coffee is probably not healthy. Okay, let's see. Who the heck are you?
Hey,
What? I can't hear you.
Oh, hold on.
Thanks. That was getting annoying.
Awesome.
hey.
Hi there.
Haro haro.
So, why'd they put you in that
Who
cell?
the heck are you?
It's all just a big misunderstanding.
Is that so?
Yeah, I didn't mean to steal anything. I was just using my pockets to move the beer to the checkout.
That's the worst excuse I have ever heard.
For your information, I happen to have a deadly fear of shopping carts.
I take my last statement back. This excuse is even worse.
Hey, it wasn't your father who was killed by a shopping cart when you were 8.
I sure hope not.
To be fair, mine wasn't either. It was just Uncle Bob.
Oh,
But that
okay.
doesn't mean it was any less traumatic, mind you. To this day, I still get nervous breakdowns at grocery stores.
I think I've heard enough, buddy.
You're right. We should stop before the flashbacks begin.
Right. Can I ask this
So,
again?
why'd they... Is that...
Yeah, I didn't mean to stop you.
I-
But that, you're...
I love that they let me do
Okay,
that.
gotta go.
See ya.
Oh, look,
If
I'm
I
up.
ever feel the urge to clean, I'll know where to go.
Too bad it isn't a stepladder.
A jail cell. Looks cramped.
Probably.
No wanted posters. I'm disappointed.
Phone? Ah. Why did it let me close the door?
Hi, this is Eileen speaking.
Hey, it's me, Kat.
Oh, hi, what's up?
Why can I do this?
Too complicated to explain over the phone.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a hold of a police report concerning Grandpa, but the cops refuse to give it to me.
So I'm calling
The
you from
state laws
the
are really
police
strict
station.
about that sort of thing.
Ugh, there must be some way to get my hands on it.
Sure, but probably not within the boundaries of the law, Kathy.
Am I hearing this right? Are you encouraging criminal behavior, E?
Oh, I would never.
Ha. I think this
Okay,
is new.
gotta go.
I don't
Talk
know.
to you later.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever... Wait, was there a phone here before? I honestly can't remember.
Lenny, for the last goddamn time, stop leaving the locker keys on this table. Always put them back in your desk when you're done. This phone is not here for your personal calls either. The county shouldn't have to pay for your giggly shenanigans. Sheriff. A computer monitor. Probably recovered stolen goods. There's no way small-town cops would be that up-to-date with the modern world.
Yeah, no.
An axe, a sledgehammer, and some other heavy tools. Brilliant idea to leave those lying around next to evidence lockers and locked cells.
Sounds safe.
A big red gas can with a hose. Somebody probably used that to siphon gas. A large evidence locker, probably for securing some of the bulkier things. If I ever need to find evidence, I'll know where to look.
Awesome.
They look sturdy enough. Wouldn't be able to break them open without taking my time and making a lot of noise.
Bum. Now what we need.
Okay. These must be the archived police reports that Lenny was talking about. Time to start digging.
Let's see. What did we find?
Found it. August 16th, 1981. Let's have a look.
Pixely nonsense. Let's see. August 16th, 81. 11:40 p.m. An individual was encountered on the side of the dirt road a few miles from Conwell Springs, blindly walking forward with his eyes wide open. The subject was identified as Joseph Rain. He did not respond when touched or spoken to. He appeared to be dirty from head to toe and wet up to his knees. Mr. Rain was fiercely clutching a small tape recorder, complete with tape. Being cooperative, he could be led into the squad car and transported back to town. Next day, well, in a few minutes later, at 12:25 a.m., picked up by Mrs. Rain and brought her along with Mr. Rain to the emergency room at the community clinic. At 8 a.m., upon routine inspection of the patrol car, a tape recorder was found discarded on the back seat, filed as evidence in locker number 5. Why is it scrolling up? What? Oh, mouse controls.
I'm gonna have to get my hands on that recorder.
That would be good. I think I remember this puzzle.
Hey.
Hi there.
You need to keep the blonde cop out there busy for a while.
I do?
Thank you.
$10 says you do.
I'd say my services in this matter are worth at least $20.
9.
15.
8.
Fine, 10.
7.
Deal.
Good.
So, what am I doing again?
Distract that young cop in the lobby. I don't care how you do it, as long as you keep him occupied for a while.
Okay then, let me know when.
Will do. Okay, gotta go.
See ya!
How to indicate when? I guess we just leave.
Hey, the jail is off limits. You shouldn't be in there.
Oh, sorry. I just heard someone yelling. I think that guy in the cell needs some help.
Yeah, probably.
What now?
Well, we know where the keys are because I have looked
Okay,
at everything.
I have to make this quick.
Desk.
Okay, let's find the key to locker number 5. Got it.
Awesome. Oh, I'm gonna have to desecrate the poor plant again. Oh no. Oh, this poor... Can I use it on Lenny?
If he wanted coffee, I'm sure he would have taken some already.
Can I gift a coffee to him?
Wouldn't that be the day? He can get his own coffee. Thank you very much.
Hey, I wanted a caffeinator. Interesting. What else can I use this on? Can I...
That's kind of an arbitrary thing to do.
Okay. But can I put on a fax
no.
machine? Okay,
Time
poor
to waste
plant.
more coffee, I guess.
Time to kill this poor plant. I feel so bad for it. Caffeine can't be good for a plant.
Lenny!
It's not that
Coffee!
much.
Jeez Louise, already? I'll take care of it, boss.
Poor dude. Thankfully, it auto-transitions me. You used to have to time it with the talking.
This should open the evidence locker with the tape recorder.
Oh, right, drag and drop, it says. So I must drag and drop.
All right, got it.
Awesome, awesome. Can I look at it here? Or maybe I should. Addictive. Maybe I should go back. Oh, and none the wiser. Well, I'm out of here.
Hey, Kathy, wait.
What?
Do you eat foot? I mean, food?
Absolutely not. I feed on human misery. Relax, Lenny. Yes, I do eat food.
Oh, well, great. Can I buy you food sometime? And also buy food for me? And
You're
then
doing
maybe
great.
we could eat the food together?
I was like, I wonder if there's an option to be kind. None of them. None of these are options to be kind. Oh boy. None of these are nice. Let's.
I'm really busy right
So,
now. Maybe later.
Oh, okay. See ya.
It gave me the achievement undateable. Poor boy, do we get any? I don't know how to unlock these. Oh well. Let's see. I remember how this works. There's a tape in it. Let's rewind it. And play.
Note to self. Remember, the perfect bouquet consists of 3 red roses, a blue violet, and 2 yellow tulips. I've been working on my research in the attic at night. I just don't want her to worry. She has enough to think about with everything that's been going on lately. With Sharon and Kathy. Anyway, I'm getting close to finding the source. I have a promising new theory. It should be ready for a test soon.
Interesting. Let's ask Grandma if we can raid the attic. And maybe present to her.
Oh,
dictaphone.
hello, dear.
Let us sit on the couch.
There are a few things I need to ask you, Grandma.
Very well, dear.
Yes. Is the
Would you
attic?
mind if I took a look in the attic?
I suppose it would do no harm. Come with me.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about more things, but
Thanks, Grandma.
guess.
You're welcome, dear. Be careful now.
I do remember.
The bulb
this
looks
next
burned out.
puzzle.
I'll have to replace it.
Okay. We are safe because I remember this puzzle. We have to steal it.
Free light bulb. Score.
And by steal it, I mean, like, just move it.
The bulb looks burned out. I'll have to replace it.
Oh, right. Light bulb. Use light bulb, unlight bulb.
There we go.
Now let there be light. Well, at least there wasn't anything horrifying up here. But there is you.
Mr. Bear! How did you get all the way up there? Good idea. You just keep watch. I'll do the searching.
Bear friend.
Various books and office supplies. Nothing in particular catches the eye. An industrial-sized jug of detergent.
That's a lot of detergent. Let's see, what else is there? A metal detector?
An electronic metal detector. Kinda clunky for a person to lug around without a specific use for it.
That tells me there might be a use for it.
Decades old.
Interesting.
Coffee. Lovely.
Metal detector definitely wasn't there.
It looks like someone was doing geometry. I can't make much sense of it.
To be fair, my math skills have, like, died. I can't math anymore. There's no such thing as math. It never existed.
An old typewriter covered in cobwebs.
Papers?
Just some old bills. Nothing interesting.
Drawers?
Empty.
Alas. More doors?
Empty.
Darn. Office chair?
A worn office chair on wheels. I'm feeling a sudden urge to do a race.
I do like rolling around on office chairs. I must agree with Kathy on that. Oh, right. This is a combination.
Nope, that's not it.
Nope, that's not it. Can't do that yet. I should get a Nancy Drew game and play it for y'all. Because they're actually really good, believe it or not.
A thick book about math.
Oh boy, math. Can I read this? Oh boy. Okay, I think I remember this puzzle. But let us go ask Grandma about the suitcase. I found out how to skip the walking.
Oh, hello, dear.
Can't skip walking in this room. You can only skip room transitions.
There are a few things I need to ask you, Grandma.
Very well, dear.
Yes, that briefcase.
I found a locked briefcase in the attic. Do you know anything about it?
Oh, that old thing? Joseph said there were just some old boring Air Force papers in there.
If that was the case, why use an intricate combination lock?
That's a very good question, dear. In any case, I wouldn't know how to open it.
I see. Oh, rip. Wait, why is DBD crashing? Your computer's way better than mine. That's suspicious. Hey, here's
Hey,
this
Grandma,
dictaphone.
do you recognize this tape recorder?
Oh, yes, Mr. Dicto. Joseph used to carry that thing with him everywhere. He could be absent-minded at times. It helped him remember things.
I got the dictaphone already. I don't think there's anything else in there I need to mention to her. What do you think about this church, Grandma?
They seem harmless to me, but they can be a bit pushy at times.
Huh,
Oh,
you could
good, we're
say
on the same
that.
page.
Handing out pamphlets at funerals is in pretty bad taste.
Yeah.
Awfully strange behavior for a priest, I'll give you that.
Hey, what about this?
I don't want to show her that. She'll just start worrying about me. I don't want to show her that. She'll just start worrying about me.
Yes, yes, let's hope that. By the way, speaking of Rorius, oh yeah, sorry, the audio pauses. Let's see if this is the command. Yes, there you go. Check out our friend Rorius. He streams on Saturdays and Sundays and does normal LPs during the rest of the week. Saturdays and Sundays New Zealand time, so for me it's more like Friday and Saturday in the afternoon, and he streams in the morning for him. It's really confusing. Anyways, later today at roughly 3 p.m. Eastern time, I think, or is it 2 p.m. Eastern time? I think 3 p.m. You can check on YouTube. He will be doing a community stream for Phasmophobia and Dead by Daylight. I'll be there, and if anyone else is watching, I hope to see you there too.
Well, gotta go, Grams. Talk to you later.
Well,
Bye, Kathy.
onwards. Okay, so this puzzle is very interesting. I don't remember how long it took me to figure it out the first time. I think I didn't find the math book, or I didn't look at it. So that's what made it confusing. So it is...
Note to self. Remember, the perfect bouquet consists of 3 red roses.
3 red
a
roses,
blue violet,
a blue violet,
and 2 yellow. I've been working on
and
my
2 yellow
just with
tulips.
anyone get high up.
Let's see. Was it 3, 1, 2? I hope it was. Gonna use chat. So it's 2, 3, 5. 1 and 3, 1. Oh, that's weird. Well, I hope that combination's correct. Because I don't remember what flowers were what. In what order. Oh, yeah, DVD is like super unstable and is not well programmed at all whatsoever. Well, maybe it might.
Yes!
I don't know if it's well programmed. I've never seen the code, so I can't say for certain. But I have a theory that perhaps the game was not designed for anything after initial release. But anyways, we have opened up this case, and I have more than 5 seconds of memory. Which is more than I can normally say. So envelope time. What is this envelope? Is there anything else interesting of here? No. Envelope.
Let's see what's in here.
Yes, let's see. Let's see.
There were 2 pictures, a newspaper clipping, a key, and a tape inside.
Oh, neat.
Oh, and a single copper penny, too, for some
That's
reason.
new.
Looks overexposed. I can't make much out. I think I see trees in the background, but most of the picture is just bright white. There's probably some way to enhance this back at school. I'll figure it out tomorrow when I'm back.
Okay. What reason
Grandpa
have you
in
found?
uniform with 2 other men. Something is handwritten on the back. Flight training, McConnell Air Force Base, 1941. Tragic drowning in Conwell Springs.
Oh.
In early morning on Sunday the 14th, a teenage girl found dead near Conwell Lake. The girl is survived by her mother, father, and younger brother. The funeral service will be held at Conwell
you
Cemetery
could have
on the 21st of
summarized
July.
that
The notice is dated July 15th, 1975.
You know, you could just update your
Tragic
graphics
story.
driver.
I
You
wonder why
have
Grandpa saved
NVIDIA
this.
GeForce installed. Oh gosh, I've missed all that dialogue. Oh well, luckily I vaguely remember what it was. Can I look at
It's
this
the penny I found in the briefcase. Looks like it was minted the same year I was born. Grandpa and me, we had this game where he would hide pennies around the house and I would go on a treasure hunt. Never in the attic, though. I thought it was too scary up there.
This sounds like a way to unlock something. I'm excited. Oh wait, right, there's that tape. Boop. Let's rewind and play.
You've reached the Rain residence.
You've reached the Rain residence.
Leave a message after the beep.
Leave a message after the beep.
Hello, Joseph, Mrs. Rain. It's me, Charles. I thought I'd give you a call. Erica just had her firstborn. It's a boy. Thankfully, he looks nothing like his father.
Huh.
Listen, I was thinking maybe you'd like to come and visit. And what about your little Kathy? Maybe she wants to see the baby. Well, anyways, I hope to see you soon. All the best. Bye.
Also, hi Nightbot. Bye Nightbot.
You people make me sick. We're never coming back. Don't call, don't write. If you ever try to contact us, I will call the police.
Joseph, you there? It's me, Cocky. It happened to me too.
Oh.
You're the only one I trust now. Just call me back as soon as you can.
Interesting.
I wonder who this Cocky is.
Well, onwards. Let us see what Grandpa has to say.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hello.
There are a few things I need to ask you, Grandma.
Very well, dear.
Yes. What's
Can you tell
this?
me anything about McConnell Air Force Base?
It's not very far from Conwell Springs. Joseph was stationed there for some time during the war. I believe they're still training young pilots there today.
So, when did Grandpa enlist in the Air Force?
Oh, it was barely past the honeymoon when Joseph left to fight in that terrible war, together with his best friend Charles and my brother Andrew. Those were nerve-wracking years. I was so worried I thought I would burst. Every short visit from Joseph was a joy.
Let's wait for this dialogue.
But he kept going back to the front, to my great dismay. When I told Joseph about being pregnant with your father, he finally realized that enough was enough. He had done his duty. Shortly thereafter, he returned to a quiet farmer's life in this very house, helping your great-grandfather with the crops until he passed.
Okay, so if you have an update, what you're going to want to do is click Custom Install, and one of the options is to do a clean install. Do that, and reinstall everything. You shouldn't have any, like, super big issues with your drivers. And honestly, DBD just crashes a lot. Even for me. What else do you have to say?
Do you know anything about a young girl drowning around here?
No, go to NVIDIA GeForce.
Oh, yes. It was the saddest thing. She was only 16. We never really knew the family. They preferred to keep to themselves.
Do you remember the name of the girl or her family?
I'm awfully sorry, dear. I just can't recall.
That's okay, Grandma. I was just wondering why Grandpa would have wanted to save this.
Joseph was always affected by the tragedy of others. Perhaps he wanted to do something for the family. In any case, he didn't speak to me about it.
Does the nickname Cocky mean anything to you?
Well,
Sounds vaguely familiar. It reminds me of the aviator call signs Joseph and his friends gave one another. Joseph was vigilante. I can't count the number of times he got into trouble for breaking the rules. To this day, I have no idea how he always managed to land on his feet.
Must be hereditary, given the things I've gotten away with.
Oh.
Every time I wake up, I am genuinely surprised that I'm not in jail.
I'm sure it's not that bad, dear.
But to get back to the subject, you don't have any idea of who this Cocky is?
I'm afraid not, but the Air Force might be a good place to start.
Interesting. Oh, I did have to talk to her.
Well, gotta go, Graham.
Bye, Kathy.
Like I said, click custom install and then use the fresh install option. Don't use Express. Well, I think I know how this puzzle goes, but let's do it the long way since I think I need this phone book. It should be at the top of NVIDIA GeForce. It should say install custom or express for the driver update.
All right, got it.
In the... I wonder if I actually would get an achievement if I...
Hi.
Sure thing.
Actually,
All right.
Goodbye.
I think there's an achievement for the opposite. Let me go back. I'm going to skip part of the puzzle. There's no quick trans... Oh, there it is. Awesome, awesome. Really no more? I have to find all those pennies. Okay, so we have to go here because we are going to be contacting a military base. So we need to have some kind of authority. Hey, I'm sorry. Oh no, the plant.
I think it's time to switch to
The
decaf.
poor plant. Oh. Oh.
Good idea, but they would.
I am so sorry for this plant. Oh no. I wonder if there's a better way to do that. Oh no. That poor, poor plant. Oh. Hello? This is Dog. You know what?
McConnell Air Force Base,
I'll
how can I
get
help
to
you?
you after the stream
Hi.
because
was
I
just
think you're
wondering
doing
if you had
everything
time
wrong.
to answer a few questions.
Sure thing, ma'am. Ask away.
Let's ask about
Do you
all
know
of
anything
these.
about what happened to Joseph Rain in '81?
I know that he was no longer stationed here at the base at that time. He'd left the Air Force decades earlier. But as a Conwell Springs citizen, sure, I've heard the rumors just like everybody else. How he was found by the sheriff all messed up, walking out of the woods with some kind of unexplained brain damage.
Any theory as to what he was doing out there?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. But I'm positive that it had nothing to do with this base or our operations here.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay. What can you tell me about his service at McConnell?
Well, Joseph Rain is a legend around here. Pile of metals weighs more than my car.
Oh.
I was fortunate enough to meet him before he suffered his injury, and I must say, what an inspiring man. I'm positive that he would have made General if he'd stuck around.
Any idea of why he quit? He looks so happy in the pictures from the war.
Oh, your family, ma'am?
granddaughter.
Well, then I'm sorry for your loss. I heard about his recent passing.
Appreciate it, buddy. So, about him quitting.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but some say the war broke him. PTSD. Me? I don't think so. When I met him, he had this aura about him, like he wasn't afraid of anything. Maybe it was just guilt. He ended a lot of lives, but that's just me speculating.
Gotcha. Thanks for the thoughts.
Interesting. Well,
I don't see a reason to ask.
Aww.
What can you tell me about McConnell Air Force Base?
This is one of the oldest Air Force bases in the U.S., established during World War I. The main purpose of it is to train fighter pilots. The McConnell Flight School is well-renowned all around the country.
Oh, neat.
In the late 80s, the school started accepting a limited number of civilian applicants due to the high demand. Some of the most famous dogfighters in U.S. history, such as Ethan Fireball Jenkins, Joseph Vigilante Rain, and Brett Savior Myers trained at this very base. Charles Wade, the great industrialist, did too. Some claim that many of his revolutionary ideas came from the former chief mechanic here, the late Niles Bloom.
Interesting.
Interesting. Thanks for the history lesson. Do you recognize the aviator call sign, Cocky?
Afraid not, ma'am. I know all the call signs here, and I'm positive it's not one of them.
This isn't current, though. It might have been used as early as World War II.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We don't keep any official records of call signs. The only option I can think of is to get a hold of somebody who was around back then.
Any suggestions?
The only person I can think of who is still alive would be Charles Wade.
All right, thanks.
My pleasure, ma'am. Anything else I can help you with?
I guess nothing.
All right, that's all.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Well, then wait! I can't run a stream and be your tech support at the same time. Unless it's a tech support stream, but I am not doing that. Oh, I guess I didn't need to do that. Oh, no, that's just DBD being janky. To be fair, the anti-cheat detection is really bad. It, like, doesn't work. At all. At least not correctly. Oh, I'm gonna have to murder a plant later. Yeah, no, the game isn't very well programmed. I guess I need to go and phone book. We need to.
Nope.
Wait.
No. Nah.
Wait. It let me call about Charles. I mean, yes, you can do that, but also I finished streaming at 1:30. You can wait an hour and a half. You know what? Let's ask Eileen.
Hi, this is Eileen speaking.
Hey, it's me, Kat.
Oh, hi, what's up?
I wonder if this is our hint system.
I'm trying to track down this young girl who drowned in the lake here.
Okay. How hard can a dead person be to track down? They tend to stay in one place, you know.
Ha, very funny, E. I don't even know her name, just when she died.
Oh, well, there must be some way to connect a name to that date.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I think I know.
I'm trying to find this guy, but all I have is his nickname, Cocky.
Well, what do you know about the guy?
Not much. I think he was in the Air Force and served with Grandpa.
Maybe you could try to find somebody in the Air Force who knew him then?
Yeah, that might be.
I already got.
I don't need to ask her. Okay.
Bye, Kathy.
But I don't know how to go about continuing it. Oh well. I think I know what to do. Eileen has reminded me of something. We need to go here. Let's see. Yeah, the Catmobile. Yes. But I recommend OBS. Okay. What's
Tragic drowning in early morning on Sunday the 14th. A girl is survived by her mother, father, and younger brother. The funeral service. The notice is dated July 15th, 1970.
1975. 1975. 1975. 1975. 1975. 1975. 1975. Gosh, 1975.
All right, this is the right date. Looks
Here we
like her
go.
name was Lily Myers. I should try to get a hold of her family.
There we go. Oh.
I wonder what that kid is doing here all alone. Hey, kid.
Hi yourself.
What are you doing?
None of your business.
Huh. I like you, kid. You're not here alone, right? Where's your mom?
Oh, she's around.
Oh.
I don't see her.
You must be blind or something.
I'll go look for your mom, okay? Don't go anywhere.
Whatever.
Rest in peace, Grandpa. I wish things could have been different.
Okay. Well, let's go find this kid's mom. Honestly, is there even anyone here?
I shouldn't leave while that kid is alone.
Oops. I accidentally clicked off and opened up the emoji. Oh? Where'd him
Kid?
go?
Guess he found his mom.
Well, I guess I can leave. I keep hitting the mic. I am so sorry. Okay, let's see. What shall I do? We now know the person's name. Let's try looking them up in a phone book. I wonder if you can still do that nowadays. Well, I suppose this is why it's set in 1995 or whatever. Phone book.
She's been dead for 2 decades. I could try to find someone in her family, but I'll need a full name.
Oh. Well. It's time to raid the police station again. And hopefully correctly this time. I'm so sorry to this plant. Oh my god, it's dead. There's no saving this poor plant. It'll never come back. It's gone. Poor thing. They changed a puzzle, so we murder a plant instead. I don't know how this is any better. It just makes everything so much worse.
Hey.
Hi there.
But it's great.
Okay.
Oh, no, I jumped ahead. I have to talk to everyone. Hey.
Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kath.
Do you, Penny?
I don't want to show him. Hey, Lenny, could you check the files for a police report? A girl who drowned around here, Lily Myers.
I'd love to help, Kathy, but you better check with the
Fine, I'll do that. Nah, I don't want.
Okay. Fine with me. Hey, what is this
I
along?
probably shouldn't.
Oh,
well,
he might.
gotta go.
See ya.
We have to talk to this dude. Clearly, very exciting business.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
Hey.
I don't need to ask. Do you know anything about a drowning here in 1975? Young girl named Lily Myers?
That case was handled by Truman. I wasn't involved.
Oh.
Could I have a look at that report?
You have a memory problem?
Fine. I don't need to ask him that. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, that won't get me into trouble at all. I don't want to. He's new in town. I don't think he knows those men.
Yeah, probably not.
That's all for now.
Good.
Let's see. Oh, Lenny. You've lived here for 3 years.
Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kath.
Do you know these
Hey,
people?
Lenny, do you recognize these men?
Not really.
I think I need to show that to Grandma.
Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Okay. Now do I do this?
Lots of police reports.
Oh, hold on. Can I?
Not a big fan. Good idea, but
No, I must.
coffee cups, both used and unused. Good
I have to
idea,
murder a
but
plant. Murder the plant. The poor plant. I wonder if I can do this now. I know what I gotta do, I just don't know how to do it.
tragic in early morning on the girl is survived. The notice is dated
Oh, it actually should be here. Because it's earlier than the 90s. My bad.
Okay, there's gotta be. Okay, what do we have here?
Okay, here we go. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. July 14th, 1975 at 5:18 a.m. Emergency services are called by a resident near Conwell Lake who reports that a young female approximately 16 years old has been found dead floating in the water, presumably drowned in the lake. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Goldfish memory. July 14th, 1975 at 5:44 a.m. Officers arrive at the scene. EMT is en route, delayed by fog. The body is fully clothed and there are no apparent signs of foul play. Incident declared as a likely accident. A sweep of the residence reveal a suicide note matching victim's handwriting. Witnesses report earlier mental health problems. July 14th, 1975, 7:26 p.m. EMT finally arrives. Oh god, that took way too long. EMT finally arrives. The girl is declared dead by medical personnel, no thanks to them, and transported to the city morgue. July 16th, 1975, 11:20 a.m. Coroner's report received. Cause of death is determined to be drowning. No exterior signs of struggle. Suicide confirmed. Alas.
Looks like somebody did a Virginia Woolf. I wonder if there's more to it.
Who the heck is Virginia Woolf? Well, onwards. I think we finally need the phone book. Oh, also I want to show Grandma that coin. And photo. I'm doing this so inefficiently.
Oh, hello, dear.
There are a few things I
Very well.
Yes, first of all.
I found out that the drowned girl's name was Lily Myers. Ring a bell?
Oh, yes. Oh, how could I forget? Sue, Jack, and their children, Lily and Nathan.
Do they still live around here?
Mother and son do. I see them in town from time to time. They live somewhere near the lake.
But not the father.
No. He disappeared not long after Lily took her own life.
I see. Do you know how I can reach the family?
Not really, dear. Like I said, they tend to keep to themselves.
Alas. Hey, this coin.
Does this coin mean anything to you, Grandma?
I'm afraid not, dear.
I don't want to show. Do you recognize this key, Grandma? I found it in the attic.
I don't remember
I'm
what this
afraid not,
opens.
dear.
Oh well. Let's see. Oh yes.
Look at this photo I found in the locked briefcase.
Goodness, I haven't seen that picture in years. This was taken when Joseph was stationed at McConnell Air Force Base. That's him right there on the left.
What about the other two?
I don't remember the name of the smiling man in the back. The gentleman on the right was Joseph's best friend, Charles Wade.
Oh, now we get to ask about him.
What can you tell me about Charles Wade?
Well, I do know he has made quite a name for himself since he and Joseph went to war together. Apparently, he came up with some brilliant piece of engineering for the airplanes. They use it everywhere now.
Interesting.
Any idea how to get in touch with him?
I'm afraid not, dear. I haven't seen him for years. He and Joseph grew apart before you were born.
Any particular reason for that?
Oh, not that I know of.
Well, gotta go, Grams. Talk to you later.
Bye, Kathy.
Oh, well, it's alright. Thank you for coming, and I'm glad you enjoyed the game. If you want to catch the VODs or see some more next time, this game gets really interesting. Well, I hope you have a good day. Otto. Need to stop hitting my poor mic. The poor thing. This isn't going to work.
Damn, no
Thank
Charles
you.
Wade in here. Was worth a shot, but being rich and famous and all, I guess he's got a hidden number. No hit for Wade Industries either, but it was kind of a long shot for them to have an office in this small county anyway.
Yeah.
I should try to get a hold of him some other way.
Yes.
All right, found an address.
Awesome. Which lead should I go to first? Charles Wade or to the Myers family? Well, I'm gonna do Charles Wade because that's the one I've been wanting to do this entire time. And I keep murdering a plant to do it. Oh, this poor plant.
I think it's time to switch to decaf.
Oh, I feel so bad for this plant. Oh, oh no. Oh. If you give a coffee plant coffee, does it help it grow at all, or does it just Kill the poor thing. I'd imagine to kill the poor thing. Okay. So, very important. We must make this phone call from here because we need some sense of authority.
McConnell Air Force Base, how can I help you?
Hi.
Hi,
I was just
hi.
wondering if you had time to answer a few questions.
Sure thing, ma'am.
I don't see a...
Huh.
I'm trying to get a hold of Charles Wade. Would you happen to know how to reach him?
Please.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but Charles Wade is a public figure. He has explicitly asked us not to provide his contact details to anyone.
Is there any way you could make an exception? I really need to talk to Mr. Wade.
No can do. I can't really help you out unless you have some sort of official business.
Official business, you say? Well, we are
I
at
do
a
have
police
official
station.
business. I'm Deputy Reagan. I'm calling from Conwell Springs Sheriff's Department.
I can see that you're actually calling from the station. You say you're a cop? You don't sound like a cop.
Well,
What the hell is that supposed to mean? It's just because I'm a woman, right? Women don't belong in law enforcement? Is that what you're saying? That's so sexist.
Now that's hardly what...
Do you have any idea what I have to go through every day? Nobody takes me seriously. The dirty looks, the sexual innuendos,
Relax, okay? I'll check the files.
yay!
555-7641.
Thanks, buddy.
Just have to give them... Well... Do we want to call this from here? Let's do it. I know, right? Kathy's great.
Wade residence?
Hi, this is Kathy Rain. I'm calling for Charles Wade.
He doesn't live here anymore. What's this about? What do you want with my father?
I'd just like to have a quick word with Mr. Wade. It's about my grandfather, Joseph Rain.
You're 20 years late, girl. My father has neither time nor energy to deal with you people.
But
This conversation is over. Unless my father explicitly says he wants to talk to you, it's not going to happen.
what a stuck-up, overclass witch. Well, she hasn't heard the last from me. I'm going to talk to that old man one way or another.
And I trust you will, Kathy. Well, we can't go further there. So you must investigate the Myers. Oh, that poor plant. That poor, poor, poor plant. Off to the lakeside cabin. Ooh, I forgot how spooky the music here was. What is there to see? Boat dock.
Looks like there's a small dock with a couple of boats. I don't have a reason to go down there. Conwell Lake, where Lily Myers met her demise. I can see someone moving inside.
Let's see.
There's a ton of discarded cigarette butts. Somebody around here is a chain smoker. We have something in common. Good to know.
Good hint. That I completely missed the first time.
55 degrees. Not too chilly, thankfully.
Oh, excuse me, that is kind of chilly. Not bad, but kind of chilly. Probably warranting of a sweater. Okay. Let's do this.
Yes? Can I help you?
I hope so. My name's Rain. Kathy Rain.
Joseph's girl. The one they sent away.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what do you want?
I had some questions about your daughter, Lily.
Well, you know what? I don't have any answers, girl. Lily was precious, special. Lily died. That's all there is to it.
My grandfather came to see you, right? To ask about her?
Maybe he did. I don't see how that's any of your business.
I'm not asking for much, Mrs. Myers.
Then clearly you have no idea what it's like losing a child. Goodbye.
Well, let's try again.
Huh, you again.
Yes, and I come with
My
gifts.
Care to join me for a smoke, Mrs. Myers?
Well, I'm gonna have to think about it. Well, I suppose one smoke can't hurt.
And that's when he realized it was his own bong.
I want to hear the rest of the story.
Oh, now that was a good one. You know what, Kathy? You're okay. Sorry for being such a cranky old bag before. I get a short fuse when I run out of smokes.
Now, that's an understatement. Good thing I had my morning smoke, otherwise we would have had a fist fight on our hands.
Oh, it's getting chilly. Why don't we head inside?
Sounds great.
Now, this here's my boy Nathan. He's special. Nate, be polite and say hello to Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi there, big guy. What you doing, big fella?
Drawing.
Oh yeah? What are you drawing?
The nice red man.
You mean Santa?
No, the nice red man.
Now, what did I say about raising your voice at strangers?
Sorry, Mama. I'll be nice. The red man is nice.
Don't mind him. He gets so absorbed in his drawings thanks to that wild imagination of his, just like his sister.
Nice view of the lake from here. Yet another burial ground for those sweet, addictive, not to mention cancer-inducing sticks of tobacco. I'm a huge fan.
Well, at least you know what the end
Very
game is.
lifelike. Contrary to popular belief, I don't believe the owls are more than what they seem.
In fact, majority of an owl's skull is their eyes. And according to very prominent furry figure piece, Uncle Kage, quite dumb. Handlers?
Elk, by the looks of it. They're fairly common in Conwell Woods. Nice painting. It's signed LM.
Oh.
I can smell something cooking.
Anything else? No, let's peek the shoe.
So you wanted to ask me about Lily?
Hi.
Yeah. Do you mind telling me what happened when my grandfather came to see you?
Well, he knocked on my door a few years after Lily had passed away. I didn't know Joseph too well myself, but I'd heard of him and the good he'd done for the other people around here. So I let him in. He started asking a bunch of questions about Lily, like if I was absolutely sure that it was suicide.
And what did you say?
The truth. That she was depressed and had been for a long time. I had no doubts about what happened.
All right. Anything else?
Well, he was weirdly curious about her paintings.
Interesting.
Lily painted?
Yep, that's one of hers right there on the wall.
I see, it's beautiful. So, in what way was he curious?
He asked if Lily had painted anything odd or strange. I didn't really get what he was after, but I let him have a look at her work. He spent some time browsing through them, and then he wrote something down on a piece of paper, thanked me, and left.
Huh. Any idea of what he could have seen?
Not really. I had the paintings all lined up. Could have been any of them.
Would you mind showing them to me?
Well, I would if I could, but this is the only one I have left.
Oh no.
I sold the rest many years ago to this weirdo art collector.
Tell me about this art collector person.
Rich, fancy looking, in his 50s or thereabouts. I'd say he'd be around 70 now if he's still alive. He knocked on that door one day with a wad of cash in his hand. $5,000. He wanted everything that Lily so much as touched with a brush.
Huh. Did he say why?
Nope, but I got the feeling that most of that dough was paid so he could avoid any questions. I took the money. I still had Nathan to support.
Did the stranger give you his name?
No. Well, his face was far from forgettable, though. Big nose, bright blue eyes, looked black Irish. He had a thick black mane, turning gray, no beard.
All right, Sue. Thanks. So, tell me about Lily's art.
It does
It
look
used to
pretty.
be about cheerful things, landscapes, animals, bright colors. But as she drifted further into depression, she started painting horrible things, death and decay. And the last few pieces looked like something out of a nightmare.
That's awful. Did Lily ever get any recognition for her art?
Not really. Except from the guy I told you about who bought most of her paintings.
Hey, Sue, do you recognize any of these men?
Well, there's Joseph Rain. Always so handsome. I had such a crush on him back in the day. And... no way. That's him. The man who bought the paintings. He's
I don't know how you're supposed to figure out to give
There's
this
no
to her.
mistake in that hair and nose.
I think I had to look it up.
Are you sure?
To be fair, you should just instinctively
That's
give
the
everything
guy
to
who
everyone.
walked into this cabin with $5,000 in cash.
That's very helpful, Sue. Thanks. Ugh. Another question for the elusive Mr. Wade.
Well, rip.
It was fun the last time, but no reason. I was pretty tempted before. What do you think about this church?
It's a good church. I go there from time to time. I bring Nate, too, when that boy needs the fear of God put into him.
No reason to no reason. No.
Where do you keep that?
I'd rather just ask her about. Do you know what this key opens?
Well, that's a bit of a weird question, ain't it? But no.
Alas.
No reason to. I'd rather just.
Okay.
So, Charles Wade was the one who bought those paintings from you.
Yep, like I said, he gave me $5,000 for Lily's paintings.
Interesting.
If you want to know his reasons, you're gonna have to ask the man himself.
Alas.
What do you do to support the two of you?
A little bit of this and that. Got me some cash saved up, too. Nathan helps out when he can.
What happened to your husband, if you don't mind me asking?
You could say he didn't quite cope as well as I did with what happened to Lily. He got himself a death wish after what happened to her, started drinking and getting into all sorts of trouble. 5 years left for him in the joint now. Been there for 15.
Man, that must be rough for you.
Oh, we're doing just fine without him, aren't we, Nate?
Mama takes good care of us.
Mama sure does.
Aw.
I don't need to ask her. Mind telling me what Lily was like, Sue?
I'd be happy to. She was Nathan's older sister by 2 years. Lily was like any girl growing up, normal, happy, talking about school, boys, and whatnot. And she and Nathan were close back then, always playing together in the woods. When Lily was 10, she started drawing, always doodling on just about anything she could get her hands on. We didn't have much, really, and so she used what she could. Once I even caught her scribbling on toilet paper. On her 12th birthday, we gave Lily a thick sketchbook with an assortment of pencils. She was ecstatic. That was the happiest I'd ever seen her. From that day, Drawing became her life. Eventually, her art teacher at school helped her to get started with oil painting. When Lily was 15, something changed. At first, I thought it was just usual teen angst, but no, this was something different. She started going out, disappearing for long periods of time. She locked herself in when painting. She never used to do that. I tried everything. Counseling, support groups, antidepressants. Nothing worked. About a year later, she just gave up. And well, you know the rest.
I'm sorry, Sue. That must have been unimaginable.
Thanks, darling, but it's been a while now. I've learned to live with it.
You know, I've been through something similar. My mom. She never killed herself, but, well, she came close.
That's a damn shame. I heard about her problems. Is she doing any better now?
Better isn't the word I'd use. I had to put her in a place where she couldn't hurt anyone, including herself.
Yeah, life ain't easy for any of us. Flip a few coins along the way, and I could have ended up somewhere like that myself. I'm awfully sorry things went that way for you, Ma. Anyhow.
Thanks, Sue. Taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
I don't need to. Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather? How he ended up in a wheelchair?
Stroke, wasn't it? At least that's what I heard.
Not necessarily. There are some divided opinions about it.
Now that I think about it, that whole ordeal happened to him not long after he came here.
How long?
A week, maybe, at the most.
Oh. Strange.
I think I'm gonna head off now.
Sure thing, little cat. Come back anytime.
Oh.
It's getting late. I should head back to the city.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, but how do we unlock the other motorcycles? This is very important.
Hey, you're still up.
I was wondering when you'd show up. How did it go?
Long story. I found out about some stuff that happened when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a mystery. So what's the plan now?
Some
feel
shut-eye is the plan. I'm about to pass out.
Oh, I couldn't possibly sleep now. I'm way too excited.
I also feel
well, that makes one of us.
They're both me.
Nighty.
Good night, Cat. Hey, Kathy, wake up!
Ugh, you are so lucky there are no sharp objects near this bed.
Oh my.
Guess what? I got an idea.
Please tell me it involves you taking a sabbatical.
Haha, so you found all this evidence, right? Pictures, tapes, and stuff?
I guess. Why?
Well, as you know, I have a computer. And I know this hacker guy, Dave, and... Oh, never mind. I'll just write you a note. You go back to sleep.
Seriously, Eileen, sometimes I just marvel at how your brain works.
I know, right?
I don't think that was supposed to be a good thing, but... Okay.
Are you sure you want to do this, Catherine? You still have time, if you think there's any chance you would change your mind.
I'm sure, Doctor. Just get it out of me. But please, don't tell my mom.
I'm sorry, but we have to do that. It's the law.
It's none of her business. It's my choice to make. I have enough shit going on with her already. This would just add fuel to the fire.
I'm afraid there's nothing I can do.
Yes,
Fine.
there is, whoever
Let's
you
just
are.
get this over with then.
Right this way.
Alas. Achievement unlocked. Get on the Catmobile.
Ugh, I hate that dream.
Well, Oh, she even has a dream catcher. Aren't you supposed to put it near the bed?
I guess Eileen went to class. I probably should too. Nah.
Sometimes it do be like that. Let's see. Is this where her
what's
note
this? Hi, Kat. Feel free to use my computer while I'm away. My password is AngelLove, without the quotes. If you call my friend Dave at 555-2492, he can set you up with some software. I'll be back in a few hours, super psyched about the investigation. E. P.S. No gum on the keyboard, please. Remember the last time? Oh, please, like she actually uses a space bar.
I mean...
Shit, looks like she forgot to write down the username. Oh well, shouldn't be too hard to guess. I think it's just some combination of her first and last name.
Well... Let's call this dude and figure out what we can do. Ring.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Kathy. Eileen said to call you about some software.
Ellie who?
Eileen. Red hair, glasses, speaks so fast her gums ache.
Oh, right. I thought her name was Errol. Figured it was kind of a weird name for a girl.
You must
have a thinking disorder.
Oh.
Burn.
Wow, just wow. So, the software?
Oh, yeah. No, can't. Not really.
Oh?
I knew she was full of shit.
Nah, I mean, sure, I used to be able to get pirated software, but not anymore. There was this misunderstanding and my network privileges were revoked. Me and Clyde, the campus IT guy, don't really see eye to eye. We used to play bocce together, and let's just say he is one sore loser.
Can't you just hack your way back in somehow? Isn't that what you do?
He blocked the Ethernet port in my room. I don't even have physical access.
Don't you ever leave your room? Use a computer in the library or something. Aren't they connected to the network?
No, there are cameras in there. Clyde is just waiting for me to make a move so he can get me expelled.
Can't you?
No way. He's such an ass. He even thinks TNG is better than the original series.
The Next Generation?
He thinks the what is better than the what?
I know, right? Can you believe that guy?
You call yourself a hacker? Just use your brain, for Christ's sake. Let's figure this out.
Wow, you're so sassy, Nancy Drew.
Good character
okay.
and game.
Only an admin account can change the access ports. The only way to even theoretically crack one would be if Clyde logged on to a machine to which we have unrestricted physical access. And... Ooh, I got an idea.
I'm not gonna like this.
Well, what you could do is intentionally crash your PC.
That sounds especially stupid.
Well, not crash it. Just crash it a little, then call Clyde. Clyde will come over to fix it. If you're lucky, then he'll log onto the network using his admin account. Afterwards, you can use some of my tools to find and crack the password locally.
Worth a shot, I guess. Okay, you can come over and set it up.
No way. I have severe IBS. It just wouldn't work.
IBS? What the hell is that?
You seriously don't want to know. I'll have my buddy drop off everything you need. It's not rocket science. You do what I ask, and I'll get you some juicy software. Quid pro quo, Clarice.
Whatever, weirdo. We'll see.
Interesting. Okay, so we got a disc.
There was a floppy disk in there with a note taped to the back.
Oh, neat. What note say?
Hi, Kat. My pad.
No,
If you
that's
call
not
super that it's labeled boot. 1. Boot your computer using the blue floppy.
Okay.
2. Use the corrupt MBR utility to crash the file system of the computer.
I know how
Take
that
the
works.
floppy out and reboot. 3. Call Clyde at 555-8181 Tell him your computer crashed and give him the error code on the screen. He'll come over and have a look. It shouldn't take too long for him to fix. 4. Now comes the crucial part. You need to somehow make him log on with his admin account. 5. Reboot and retrieve the admin credentials using the blue floppy. 6. Reboot and log on using Clyde's admin account. 7. Look for some kind of tool to remotely open my Ethernet port. Dorm B, room 8. That's it. And remember, if you mess up somewhere, just call Clyde, and he'll have to take care of it. It's his job, after all.
Valid. Okay, well, first I actually have to figure something out. You. I have questions. I need to figure something out first.
IT, this is Clyde speaking.
I kind of forgot my username.
Yeah.
Well, it's real easy. It's the first letter of your first name followed by your last name, so...
All right, sounds easy. All right.
Thank you. I need that. So let's, I need Eileen's name.
Eileen's girly suitcase. There's a sticker on it with
E. Summers. Let's just make sure that E. Summers and...
Hi, Cat. My password. If you call my super... That
Oh, that's not subtle whatsoever. Okay. So I'm going to want to go in
1,
here.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interesting. Oh, there's a fingerprint on here. Oh, this is making me nostalgic for an era I never lived in. I should try writing an operating system again. Probably not the best idea I've ever had, but you know what? Sounds fun. Want to do that again. Well, time to break this. Luckily, it's easy to fix. Okay, back.
All right, time for some expert help.
Listen, thank you. Okay, I need you. We are going to get this done.
IT, this is Clyde speaking. How can I help you?
Let's see.
Hi, I need you to come and fix my roommate's computer.
Computing machine broken.
What seems to be the problem?
It won't start up. There's some kind of system failure.
Probably a hard drive failure.
Dorm A, room 5.
I'll be there in a few minutes.
Thanks.
Thank you. To be fair, learning about file systems is really interesting. Once wrote a IDE. Well, no, it was
Hey, Clyde from IT.
Some kind of
Hi,
driver I wrote for a hard drive. It was fun, although a bit of a pain with how I decided to go about things. Really not the best idea I had.
How did this happen?
I have no idea. It was like this when I started it up this morning.
Let's have a look. And presto, good as new.
That's perfect. Could you try
You go ahead.
Okay. So I remember this. What we want to do is... Oh no, it was the wrong password. Oh no. Oh no, what happened?
Oh, now look what I did.
For crying out loud. Let me try to log in with my account.
Oh no, whatever had we do? How could this happen?
Okay, everything seems to be in order. I've unlocked your account. Please, try not to break anything else.
Oh, I'll try.
No worries. I'll only break everything.
Phase 1 complete.
Okay, shut you off.
1, 2, 3,
No.
4, 5, 6, 7. That's it.
I wonder if she ever says to number 9. I think I have a floppy drive laying around. I don't think it connects to anything, though. It would be kind of difficult. What did I even click? Okay. Doing this again. Okay. There is no way that a computer would transition that smoothly. Especially if it's loading an operating system off of a floppy disk. No way. Absolutely no way. I need this. Admin. Gadget. Okay. So... Oh, look, tab works. That's actually really nice. Welcome, Clyde. Network settings. Ooh, I don't remember which
1,
one it was.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look for some kind of tool to remotely open my Ethernet port.
8.
Dorm B, room 8. That's it.
B. 8.
All right, that should do it.
Wasn't ours like room 6?
No need to change the status of that port. No need to.
Aww. You know, that reminds me. Inside class, we used to use a certain exploit in order to create a local admin account on the computers. So that we could just do whatever. Computers are very exploitable.
Yeah.
Guess what?
You got it? Hang on.
Dun-dun-dun.
Oh,
Also,
man, I could kiss
there's no way that it would be that easy to change the ports. You'd have to enter a command, change the routes,
Not telling,
update
buddy.
the switch.
Saving those for a rainy day.
Huh. I suppose this nice floppy I've prepared for you stays in my room then.
Sure, then I'll just have to log back on and click that pretty little lock icon again.
Now this is just emotional blackmail.
Quid pro quo, Dave.
Fine. I'll have it dropped off at your room. God damn, you're like a she-Clyde. A Clydeette.
What does that even
Huh,
mean?
that is the worst insult I've ever heard. Later, Dave.
You know, I've never actually seen a mail slot. I know they exist solely through, just TV
There was
shows.
a floppy disk inside.
Okay.
It's labeled tool.
This.
Not a bad idea, but I should probably switch back to Eileen's account first.
How boring. Okay, Blue Pill OS. Interesting. Dun-dun-dun-dun. T. Summers and Angel Love. VoiceForge, image analyzer, software installed. Awesome. Well, let's first analyze. I remember what we must do. You have this overexposed photo. No, scanner.
It's some
Can I... Scanner, please? Scan. Right picture.bmp. Oh god, it's a bitmap, but you know what? That was the file type of today. I don't think they'd have programs that worked like this back then. Okay. I suppose I could sort of believe. Let's see.
What the hell is that? Ball lightning? I'll print the whole picture for now, but there's probably more to find.
Interesting. Pattern and S fails. Please narrow down search area. Brightness anomalies form a tilted equilateral triangle. See, there's no way software would even say brightness anomalies.
That shape has to be significant somehow.
Interesting. What this?
Oh,
wait. Oh, I missed that dialogue. Sad. Oh well.
No, not quite.
What else is there to find? I want to zoom in on this flower. What else is there to find?
I already have a copy.
Okay.
No, not quite.
Well, what else is there to find? Nothing I can think of is this red flower, but it's not letting me do anything with it. Oh. I can print this.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's all there is to find in this picture.
Oh. Got all that checked out. Drag and drop audio files. Which one's the printer?
I'll just get rid of the original picture now, since I have the restored version anyway.
I mean...
Strange. Now that I look at them, the lights remind me of something I picked up yesterday.
Well, we can do that in a minute. Right now, I think this actually hooks up to the scanner.
No use in...
Oh, wait, actually, I want to drop this in here.
No use in...
How do I get this on the computer?
Not...
I know there's a way to do it.
It's some It's a bright red flower. Could be a long shot, but I've never seen a flower like that. Maybe finding out more about where it grows could narrow down where the picture was taken. A printed picture of... Now that I look at...
Can I move over here and...
Wow, the church logo looks pretty similar to the smoky lights. Yeah. I might have to visit them after all. Oh, hello there, Mildred.
Hi yourself, Agatha.
Dun dun dun.
What? How'd you... Ugh, never mind.
I know your social security number too.
Oh, God. Soon you'll start stealing my clothes and then walk around and then pretending to be me.
That's weird.
Who says I haven't done that already?
Okay, I admit that's pretty funny.
So anyway, how did things go with Dave?
Pretty good. I had to sabotage your computer.
You had to what?
Oh, chill outy. It was just a tiny little thing. I just needed an excuse for the IT guy to come by so I could steal his password.
Clyde? But he's so nice. Why'd you want to steal his password?
It's a long story.
Yeah.
Wow, they're hypnotic. Looks like a will-o'-the-wisp. You know, the spirit of the forest.
Now that's just silly, Eileen. There has to be a more reasonable explanation for them.
I hope.
Hey, there's nothing silly about forest spirits. You should talk to Meadow, my Wiccan friend. She's really opened my eyes about these sort of things.
Isn't it your Christian duty to consider people like her to be heathens?
Oh, I doubt she could ever be more of a heathen than you are.
I guess you've got a point.
So anyway, is there anything I can do to help?
Well, my side of the room is starting to get a bit messy. There's always that.
I meant with the investigation, silly.
I guess you could try to find out more about these lights. Maybe figure out where that picture was taken.
I know exactly where to start. Oh, and yeah, feel free to keep using my computer. I don't need it right now.
All right, I think I'm gonna see if I can figure out a way to motivate Erica Wade to talk to me.
Okie dokie.
Awesome. I was a little too fast for the game. Now
no
I use
use
this. How? Oh. Okay, hold on. Put you back in. Reverse. Click that. Go here. This is so janky.
You've reached the Rain residence.
And
Leave
now
a
you
message
wait.
after the beep.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just call me back as soon as you can.
Awesome. Can we record the other tapes as well? I'm interested.
I did that already.
Aww. Fine.
Okay, Erica Wade. Let's see if we can't motivate you to hear me out.
I wonder if they got this straight out of Audacity. 5 distinct voices, separated into sections. After the beep, leave message. Rain reach residence that you've... Okay.
You've reached the Rain residence.
You've reached the Rain residence.
Leave a message after the beep.
After the beep. Awesome. Next one. About all baby best boy by called Charles. Come Erica father firstborn gave and he hello his note. It's Joseph. He just Kathy like listen look me Mrs. Nothing Rain. Charles Wade was his
Hello,
name, right?
Joseph, Mrs. Rain. It's me, Charles. I thought I'd give you a
Wow,
call.
44
Erica
kilohertz?
just had her firstborn. It's a boy. Thankfully, he looks nothing like his father. Listen.
this one was to static.
What the hell? Calm down, Kathy. Think. Just think. It has to be some sick joke. Yeah, that must be it. He is one twisted fuck.
Can we?
I don't think I need to manipulate this particular voice recording.
But I want to. To be fair, this is some very good speech detection. Well, let us. So this is Charles Wade. Let's see. Hello. It's Charles. Oh, okay, wait, no. Clear all. Hello, Erica. It's Charles. I'd like you to listen to Kathy.
Almost. Just a few more tweaks. That should work.
You know, you can technically do this using modern day technology. It takes a lot of work, though.
I'll just reuse the same tape and place the modified message at the end.
Hello, Erica. It's your father. Call Kathy Rain and give her what she wants. Bye.
All right, the forged message should now be at the end of the original tape.
So quiet. Let's go out. Oh, hi, Eileen.
Hey, E, got a sec?
Sure thing, Kathy. What's up?
Any idea?
Beats me. Maybe he found what he was looking for.
Not see that.
Or it found him.
Dun dun dun.
Did you just quote a tagline from one of those cheesy horror novels?
Maybe.
Aw.
I wonder what was so special about Lily Myers. Well, besides her being a talented artist who drowned herself in a lake.
I bet there's some secret about her art. Let's hope Charles Wade has some answers.
Yes, let's.
What do you think of this cocky person?
Well, the nickname makes me think of, you know, boy parts.
And you call yourself a Christian. Any ideas how to get in touch with Charles Wade?
His daughter is probably our best shot. There must be some way to get her on our side.
Yeah. Either by convincing her or tricking her somehow. What do you think of Lily Myers' art?
I actually looked her up this morning, and I couldn't find any records of her being recognized as an artist.
Yeah.
Her art was really good.
I doubt there was ever a chance for that to happen. Wade bought everything shortly after she died. I only got a chance to see this one picture. Wasn't all that bad, but nothing breathtaking.
Well, maybe there's more to her art than meets the eye. Something Wade knew, and we're missing.
Yeah, maybe. What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like an okay bunch to me. Just your regular old Christians. My kind of crowd.
That's just it. They seem a bit too normal. And there's that logo, too.
Yeah.
It could just be a coincidence,
triangle.
Kathy. The Holy Trinity is typically portrayed as a triangle.
I don't believe in coincidences, E. I believe in action and reaction.
Gee, you sound like a starship captain. Captain Rain of the USS Dignity, here to save the galaxy.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, please kill me now.
Hey. They're good shows. What's
I found
this,
this at
Penny?
my grandparents' place.
Give me a hint.
Oh, wait. You stole money from your grandma?
Jesus, no, it's a sentimental thing. Me and Grandpa had this game with pennies when I was a kid.
Oh, so you kept the coin to remember the times? That's adorable.
Oh, shut up.
Aww.
I don't need to show her. I don't need to I found
Hey,
this
look
old
at this
picture of
photo.
Grandpa at my grandparents' place.
That's nice. He looks really happy there.
Yep. I wonder what made him leave the Air Force.
He was in
Well,
a war,
family,
you know?
probably.
That kind of thing tends to scar people for life.
I suppose.
Let's see.
Look what I got last week, E.
Wow, is that thing even, legal?
I have no idea.
Sometimes I really worry about you, Kathy.
Well, your days of worrying are over. We're protected by 100,000 volts now.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, brother.
Trust me, I've tried. E is the epitome of purity. No tobacco, no fast food, no alcohol.
Well, good for her.
She basically rejects everything awesome. I don't need to show her that. Have a look at this brochure, E.
Yeah, what about it?
Doesn't that logo look a lot like the 3 lights in the forest?
Wow, yeah, you're right. You should go pay the church a visit.
That's the plan. Gonna do that tomorrow.
Let's see. What else?
I don't need to show. I don't. Dave really came through for me. The software on this thing is amazing.
Yeah, he's a real whiz.
Indeed.
Dave really.
Yeah.
Oh, both let me just do that.
No point. What do you think about this flower?
It's beautiful. What kind of flower is it?
No
idea. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Oh.
I got a botany book around here somewhere. I could look it up later.
Sure, that would be great, thanks.
Anytime.
Lane is such a great help.
I should get back to the investigation.
Okie dokie.
Let's see.
I don't think.
Well, yes, it will.
No.
Okay. Come on.
You've reached Erica Wade.
Hello, Erica. It's your father. Call Kathy Rain and give her what she wants. Bye.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You've reached Erica Wade. Leave a message after the beep.
Hi, Erica. This is Kathy Rain. I spoke to your father. He asked me to get in touch with you and said he would call ahead. You can reach me at 555-8352. Bye.
Awesome, awesome. It's all
Your
coming
move,
together.
Erica.
Now that's some out-of-the-box thinking.
Yep, just might be silly enough to work. Well, time for a break. Gotta eat something before I pass out.
Okie
Sounds like a
dokie.
great
I'll
idea.
stay here and keep digging.
All right, see you in a bit. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. I wonder how much more dialogue we're going to have to go
So,
through.
any progress with the search?
Yeah, I was able to identify that flower. It's called the red scythe, or Rosea falcus.
Interesting.
I discovered that there was a small nature reserve near Conwell Springs, which was established in '89. The red scythe is on their list of endangered plants. I made a photocopy of the botany book page in case you want it later.
That's something. I should go check it out. Maybe I can narrow down the place where that picture was taken.
My thoughts exactly. Here you go. The nature reserve is marked out on this map.
Jeez, you've been busy.
Wow.
Well, you know, beats homework.
Amen to that.
And, good work, Eileen.
Same?
Happy to help. So what?
Oh?
Oh, hang on. I'll go get that.
Okie dokie.
Let's get this.
Hello?
Pick up.
This is Erica Wade calling for Kathy Rain.
Speaking.
Miss Rain, this is terribly awkward. I realize now how rude I was before.
Oh, awesome.
I wanted to apologize and ask if there is anything I can do.
Well, let's
Apology
be kind.
accepted. You can start by answering a few questions.
Very well.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather that night in 81?
Not really, no. But what I do know is how it destroyed Father.
It did?
Oh, yes. The two of them were great friends once. And when Joseph was hurt, they hadn't been talking for some time. Father always hoped they would be able to reconnect one day. He kept putting it off, believing they had time. But in the end, it never happened.
Alas.
So, what were things like back when they were still good friends?
Oh, they were like peas in a pod. Always sharing their war stories and laughing together. In a way, Joseph became the uncle I never had. He was around a lot when Father went out on business trips. Later on, I even met you a few times, when you were just a baby.
I don't remember any of that.
Oh, no matter, you were so little then.
Erica, I have to ask, why were you so defensive on the phone earlier when I tried to reach out?
Oh, I don't know, Kathy. Our families haven't been in touch for a long time. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but we all started drifting apart. My guess is that it had to do with Father's growing wealth. Friendship needs common ground, and we started living in different worlds. What happened to your grandfather was the final nail in the coffin. Father just couldn't bear seeing him like that, neither alive nor dead.
What do you know about Lily Myers?
She was a young artist who lived somewhere in Conwell Springs. Killed herself, if I recall correctly. Dreadful thing. But other than that, not much. We never knew the family.
Do you recognize the nickname Cocky? It may be an Air Force call sign.
I can't say that I do. Father had many friends in the Air Force, but
Interesting.
no one I can recall by that name.
What can you tell me about Mr. Wade?
My father is a great man. He has so many ideas, so much left to realize, which makes it hurt so much more to see him like this.
See him like what?
The illness and everything, of course.
Right. Yeah, it must be hard.
Oh, yes, indeed. I wish he wouldn't be so stubborn with his treatment. He could go to any state-of-the-art hospital, but insists on being treated in that backwater clinic in Conwell Springs.
Interesting.
The community clinic in the middle of town?
Yes. It's like he's given up and is just waiting for the inevitable to happen.
What do you know about Lily Myers' art?
Oh, that little girl had a twisted mind, let me tell you that.
Oh?
Oh, my father used to have a
Like
few
it's
pieces
rich
of hers in
or
his
kinda
collection.
disconnected.
Horrible things. I couldn't understand why he ever decided to procure them in the first place.
You say
Oh,
used
wait,
to have.
hello.
Did
Hi,
he get rid of the
welcome,
paintings?
welcome.
Oh, either that or he put them in storage somewhere. I haven't seen them for years. I never bothered to ask him why. Glad to be rid of them, quite frankly.
Well, kind of rude, but as I said, the rich probably has a different view on the world than us. Oh, yes, indeed. I played the original, now we're going through the Director's Cut edition. Let's see, right now, I am talking to Erica Wade, I think is her name. Oh well. Church
Do you
of
know
Holy
anything
Trinity.
about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
It's the one and only church in Conwell Springs. I was baptized there, and I married my husband there.
Anything out of the ordinary
See.
about them?
Oh, not really. They seem like a typical church to me.
Well, I think we did get
that's
good
all I
information
needed.
from her.
Very well. Feel free to call back if you have any more questions.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Wade is in Conwell Springs. He's being treated in the clinic.
Well, I was going to end.
That was Erica Wade.
But
her father is
since
being
you're
treated at
here,
the clinic in Conwell Springs.
I'll go for a little bit longer.
Being treated? He's sick?
Looks that way. Small miracle they managed to keep it out of the press.
Indeed.
Yeah, I suppose you're returning to talk to him?
It'll have to be tomorrow. It's quite late for that now.
I suppose. Scrabble?
Oh, you're so on. I will crush you.
Oh, it's fine. I have time. This is just when I usually end. Oh, this is new.
You're off your game today. Is everything all right?
Oh, shut up. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Oh, up late, thinking about your grandpa and everything?
Not just that, I keep having this bad dream. Well, it's not exactly a dream, it's something that actually happened.
Oh? What is it?
I'm not sure I should tell you.
I
You
guess I
can
decided
trust
to
me.
expand on this story.
Whatever it is, I promise I won't judge.
Well, it's your funeral. So, I used to be 16 and also pregnant.
Well, you're right. Thinking. You're right. All of the colleges I can think of don't have such a cluttered landscape. Well, to be fair, I've only been to like 2. Wait, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to what she just said. Oh no.
Oh no, I broke it.
Please go on.
Well, seeing as how I don't actually have a 5-year-old, you can probably put 2 and 2 together.
You had an abortion.
Sure did. Major pain in the ass too, but hey, couldn't let that pregnancy go untreated.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're telling me, but I really wish you hadn't done that, Kathy. Who was the, you know, the...
The donor? You wouldn't know him. The 2 of us would have made terrible parents, though.
Alas.
I respect your decision, but you know how I feel about this. That guy up there, he's pro-life. And I'm with him.
I get that. I gotta say, you're being really cool about this, E. I was expecting you to clutch your cross, flip the table, and storm off or something.
I'm not a walking stereotype, you know.
Says the red-headed nerd with the glasses.
Ha ha. But Kathy, if you keep having that nightmare, perhaps you should talk to somebody about it.
Maybe. But I doubt obsessing over it is very healthy either. Your turn, E.
Oh, fine.
No. I'm glad Eileen's like such a good friend.
Oh, I play Apricot Orange. Yay, bingo. 67 points.
Well,
how does
ain't
Scrabble
that
even work?
fucking peachy?
At least it's not sour grapes.
Touché.
Kathy dreams. Kathy dreams what? Oh.
A tainted
this.
one approaches. Is it time?
Ah, yes. I also
Yes,
love speaking
a
swirly
fire
triangle
that burns
eye.
so bright. It is almost unbearable to see.
I hope they do more into this universe. Yes. Zodiac symbol, twins, triangle.
Indeed. It
Very
seems the apple
fascinating.
doesn't fall far from the tree. Shall we sculpt some flesh friends, then?
I dislike that phrase. Thing, crab time, kite.
Very well. I will attend to the threshold.
Interesting. Yes, I dislike that. Indeed.
Good morning, sunshine.
Fluffy
Please
friends
tell
are
me I
always
dreamt all
welcome.
those Scrabble losses last night.
Oh,
3
poor
times in a
Kathy.
row.
Rub it in, why don't you? I'll just go strangle myself now.
Oh, you. Don't be a sore loser. So what's the plan today?
Mr. Wade is the plan. I'll head for the clinic right away. While I'm at it, I'm gonna check out the church and the nature reserve.
It's a lot of
Okie
tasks.
dokie. What can I do to help?
Why don't you continue looking into the lights? I have a feeling they're the key to solving all of this. You could also look up the history of Conwell Springs in general, see if anything unusual has been going on.
I'll get right on it.
Great. Thanks, E.
Oh, by the way, don't forget to check out the page I gave you about the red scythe. It's a pretty interesting flower.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's do that.
It's a photocopy of a book page with information about the red scythe flower.
Thank goodness I don't
Here's an
actually have to
interesting
read
segment.
everything.
Another interesting trait of the red scythe is the smell, which is familiar to that of a pepper. The pollen of the plant has also been known to cause hallucinations in concentrated amounts. Native American tribes harvested and smoked the plant for that reason, but the flower never caught on as a modern recreational drug due to the difficulty of growing it.
Interesting. Indeed. Well, probably wouldn't be new to her.
We meet again, Mr. Bear.
Stay away from him, you violator.
Ha. What does Eileen have to say?
Hey, E, got a sec?
Sure thing, Kathy. What's up?
I don't actually have anything to give you. Well,
I should get back to...
Okie dokie.
Time to go.
All right, I'm off. Peace out, E.
Okie dokie. Good luck and see you
Oh.
later.
Oh gosh, I could never go to one of those. Absolutely anxiety-inducing. Have we really not unlocked any? Sad. Off to the clinic. Oh, same. No, I refuse to drink, and I do enjoy being with friends, but strangers not so much.
Yep,
Why were you
it's
trash?
full of trash. Figure that.
Didn't think it would be. Indeed.
We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Homeless? That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
Sure.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough patch.
That's a mood.
By the way, you owe me $10.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Better get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
Alas.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
Well, what do they call you anyway?
Gober. Everyone calls me Gober.
All right, I'm Kathy.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Goober. What is
So,
your story?
What's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is
Sure,
that
sir.
so? I
Oh,
don't
hi,
recognize
Nightbot.
you at all.
Bye,
I used to
Nightbot.
have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual Surprises, Natural Bald Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
So,
Let's see.
tell me about this
Let's hear about
acting
these.
career of yours.
What about it?
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Lawrence Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez. Based on a true story.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's Bladder is
It is
about,
a very
but
concerning
I'm gonna ask
name.
anyway.
Jacob's Bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder.
That does sound very
During long
concerning.
and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny.
Oh my.
Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week, and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Give me the rundown on The Usual Surprises.
A lighthearted comedy taking place during the surprise birthday party of 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure.
Isn't this supposed to be a
I guess
comedy?
it's more of a dark comedy.
Natural Bald Killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school.
Alas.
One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the
reminds me
perfect
of
head
a
of hair.
YouTube video I once watched.
Eddie makes his way to Mexico
It was a horror
for an illegal
video,
hair
so I guess it
transplant.
kinda
However,
fits.
he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
That's Oh. It says kinda. If you really want that, that's a different one. Which I usually, well, practically no one knows about it. No one even follows it. It's just more of a suggestive tag on my main Twitter. I do try to keep it mostly clean, but you know, there are things on there that some people might say that's not necessarily safe. But I'm like,
Oh, never mind.
Answered all this.
Not the cultured type. I understand.
Let's see. ¿Qué estoy haciendo? Well,
I need
let's
to ask
you
you
a
a
bunch
few
of nonsense.
Sounds serious. Ask away.
What do you know, my good sir?
Do you know what happened to Joseph Rain in '81?
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the truth.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Abducted by aliens.
My good sir.
I should have known better.
Oh, I saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons. My wife had just left me, taking the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm telling you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Open your mind, man.
I'm afraid to ask.
Do you know who Lily Myers was?
Yep, my dad was the one who found her floating in the lake.
Oh.
Really? What can you tell me about her?
Geez, not a lot. I mean, teenage girls, man, they're like their own species. Impossible to figure out. Not to mention how that entire family ain't, like, people-friendly.
To be fair, she
now
did
that's
almost
an
stab
understatement.
Kathy.
Nearly started brawling with Sue the first time I met her.
She could sure deal out a mean whooping, that lady.
Do you recognize the nickname Cocky?
Why, I used to call myself that back in Nam. Oh, how I miss that marvelous youthful ego of mine.
Why do I even bother? Do you know who Charles Wade is?
Sure, he's been holed up in this clinic for the last couple of weeks.
Oh.
You saw Charles Wade go in there?
Well, yeah, I just told you, man.
How did he look?
Okay, I guess. Still walking, at least.
What do you know about Lily Myers' art?
Nothing but hearsay. People say it was pretty deranged.
Poor lady.
What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know. They were like a cult or something, with Billy Praise himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really. I tried to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it. He's a friendly guy.
Naruhodo.
All right. I might do that.
Can I interest you in this
but
stun
only if I
gun?
had a really good reason. Want to smoke, buddy?
Nah, I got stage 2 lung cancer. I'm keeping it under control with a fruitarian diet.
Sure.
I don't need to show. I don't. Do you recognize these men?
That's your granddad, right?
Yeah. What about the other two?
No idea. I think my face blindness is acting up again.
Okay.
Sure, my dude.
Do you know what this key opens?
Your heart, mademoiselle?
Oh, brother.
Oh, boy.
That'd be one raggedy-ass bribery attempt. I don't need to show him that.
Oh.
Do you know what
Oh
this
gosh,
is?
I really hope you can.
Chinese fireworks, of course. I grew up in Shanghai. I know what I'm talking about. They used to call me Dong Pai, meaning round-eyed baldy. Those were some rough years. I miss
wonder
the
if it does
food,
mean that.
not to mention the women. Got 2 kids down there now, Maylin and little Pink.
Time to hit the off switch now, buddy.
Okay. Gosh, it's... Even though I can't pronounce Chinese words correctly, it still hurts hearing a word you know that's inside another language, not spoken inside that language's accent. It's like... how do I say? It's like when people say hola as hola, like hola, hola, hola. God, I can't. It's just hola. And what? Not really good at Chinese per se. Oh boy. Hola, ¿cómo estás? 大家好. Anyways.
Do you know anything about this flower?
It's red?
Enlightening. Okay,
oh well.
That's a
all right.
I wonder if disposal is the same.
Okay, I'm off.
Bye.
Because it is time to cause some chaos, I believe. But first,
No
let's
thanks.
investigate everything.
Was expecting plastic, but this looks like a real plant.
Oh wow.
Smoking allowed. Guess this place is a bit behind on healthcare regulations.
Indeed.
A calendar from 1991. Guess they really liked that year.
Oh my.
I can't read it from here. Rows and columns of files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging.
At least you're using a computer.
Uncomfortable, hard plastic chairs. It's like they're intentionally trying to keep people out.
Yeah, I remember using a computer with a monitor
Excuse
like
me,
that.
nurse?
It was called the Dinosaur.
Hey, nurse!
I have no idea why we called it that. Even though, when I was using it shouldn't have been more than, what, like, 5 years old? No, wait, 8 years. No, it was ancient by the time I started using it. So I get it, why we called it the Dinosaur.
They don't pay you much, huh?
No shit. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles
Poor
Wade.
lady.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
I need to get rid of her somehow.
Well, it's time to start trouble. But that computer lasted so long. It kept working. It just wouldn't die. We finally had to throw it away. The poor thing. I might have some parts of it here and there somewhere. You know what? I still have its audio card. I think.
Hey, doofus.
I think that's its audio card. Hey, do you want to die?
How good an actor are you?
The best! The very best!
You know, that nurse in there, she said she loved you in all those movies. And that she always wished you'd give her a live performance.
I know it. She always gave me these strange looks. I thought it was
yeah, totally
contempt,
positive.
but her face must just be cramping up from shyness.
Totally what's
Yeah,
happening.
that's definitely it. She'd love to see you act, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to oblige. Which movie do you think she'd like the best?
This
How
one.
about The Usual Surprises?
I remember
Business
having to look
as
this
usual.
one up because I sucked. Sometimes my puzzle solving skills are great, sometimes they just don't work.
I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. I'm seizing. Thank you.
No, it's too late for that.
You've been a great audience.
Gosh darn it.
That wasn't really an...
You do kind of suck, dude.
Hey,
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Sure.
How about...
Business.
Awesome, awesome.
I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon?
Sadly, yes.
Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. I'm seizing.
Nurse, he's seizing!
Oh shit!
Well, it's time you finally
Man,
got
I
off your
feel like a
Walkman.
total jackass. I'll have to make it up to the poor guy later.
Yeah, there was choices were made.
Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. Ugh, what a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse.
Well, thankfully I don't have to suffer through this again, and I remember what to do. Because gosh darn it, I spent so long trying to figure this out, it was not funny. Gosh, I really want to mess with assembly programming again. But I have responsibilities for school. But after that, maybe during winter break, I'll mess with it again.
Crap. Looks like I have to figure out the username some other way.
Otorgador. 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 Oh, I actually remembered her name. Oh gosh, I can type.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Let's see, referral from Dr. A. Friedman, St. Francis Medical Center, KC. Patient has undergone successful invasive heart surgery and was transferred to this facility at his own request. The initial prognosis looks good, and the patient is likely to make a full recovery in 6 to 8 weeks. Awesome. Well, time to go up. Actually, I think... Yes, I should. I think I will leave it there. We can discover what Mr. Wade has to say in the next episode. Totally episodes. Next stream. Ah, boy. We also have to figure out what's happening at the Church of the Holy Trinity. And that foresty area. Oh god, I just realized something terrifying. Oh god, no. I have not saved this entire time. That would have been bad if anything were to happen. I'm just gonna save over this, well, yeah. Oh, let's go. Bum. Here. Bum. So yes. Next time, we will continue investigating and hopefully find out what the heck is happening. I think it might take 1 to 2 more streams, maybe 3, depending on how much I forget. Anything interesting? Well, next week is finals, so after that I might be able to get back to producing videos over on YouTube. I have 1 episode recorded, but I need to record more. What else? Staxel with CZ is pending. Can't think of any other housekeepy things. Oh, let me do this once more. If you wish to find me on New Zealand time Saturday and Sundays, I most likely will be watching or participating in Rorius' streams. It's a lovely community, and he deserves all the support. He will be streaming in about an hour for Phasmophobia and Dead by Daylight. Let's see. What else do I have to remember? I really should make notes. Oh well. I wake up an hour before the stream starts, and I only have just enough time to eat and wake up enough to die. Nope. Can't think of anything. Well, the VODs will be up on YouTube And thank you all for coming. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all next week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I decide to stream anything else at any other time, it will end up on my Twitter if you can get past the 3,000 retweets I do. I still don't have an ending the stream scene. I will complain about that for every stream until I do it, which might be a while. Have a great day. Bye.